Welcome back to the channel where we discuss everything low code, no code, AI, and automation. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to connect an Airtable base to Supabase and allow a two-way sync between these two databases. At the end of this video, you'll learn how to spin up a website and a web app that's connected to both Supabase and Airtable so both your technical and non-technical users can update the app in real time. This is a really easy video to follow along. You don't need any coding skills to get this started, and by the end of this, you'll be able to spin up your own web apps with an Airtable backend and a Supabase backend as well. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any other videos like this one. Okay, let's jump in and see how this all works. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick preview of what we're going to be building today. This is a software tools directory that has hundreds of different software tools, and this is powered by Airtable and Superbase, and we built the front end with Lovable, which is an AI prompt to software builder. You could search for different tools. We could say share tribe. We could see that tool. We could find it. We could favorite it. We could share it. We could click on the tool to learn more, and it'll take us out to the tool webpage. And we were able to build this in just under 20 minutes using data from our existing Airtable base, and we synced it to Superbase. So we're going to walk you through each step on how we built this and how you can get something like this set up in just a matter of minutes. Okay, so let's dive in and build this from scratch. Okay, so let's show you how we build this, and we're going to walk you through each step so that by the end of this, you can build your own data-driven app with Lovable as the AI agent to build the app, Airtable as the database that syncs to Supabase with WhaleSync, and you'll have a live app on the web by the time you're done. We'll show you each step. So right now we're at lovable.dev, and to build your app, you just need to give it a simple prompt. So we put a prompt in here, a web app that shows different software tools in a directory style page. You can make this more complex, but we're intentionally keeping this simple. I'm just going to change this to private, so it's only available to me, and I'm going to go ahead and hit this arrow. Now what's going to happen here is Lovable is going to take a look at our prompt. It's going to try to understand it and then spin up a first version of our app for us. We, of course, can iterate on everything that it creates, from the design to the layout and everything in between, but it's going to get us to this MVP. And as you can see here, it's already starting to think. So it's going to give us some design inspiration, some features for the first version, like a hero section with a grid list view toggle, filterable categories, smooth animations. And it gives us some styling here as well with our primary colors, our fonts, our rounded corners. And look at this. It's actually writing the code for us while we sit here and read this, which is super nice. It's handling all the CSS, what the cards will look like. Everything is being handled for us so that we can just focus on the functions and the user experience for this app. So let's go ahead and let this finish. It usually only takes a couple minutes to get to a first version, and then we can iterate on that. And most importantly here, connect our data to show you how this all works. So let's give this a second, let this finish up. Looks like it's populating some dummy data for us, which is perfectly fine because we're going to remove that and connect the real data. Okay, so this is loading. Let's see what happens here. Looks like there was an error. We're not seeing anything on the page. So let's just hit this. They have this really nice feature, try to fix the error. So from the code present, I get the error below. Please think step by step in order how to resolve it. You can actually take a look at the error as well. Let's see here. Some sort of dependency in our CSS. So hopefully it's an easy fix and the app should populate here since it was just a CSS issue. Okay, perfect. So we have our app and it's exactly what we wanted. It's a list of different software tools. We can search, we see the tool with a brief description, you can like it, you can share it, and click to go on the website. So this is looking really, really good. So now let's back up a step and show you how we want this all to work. We have an Airtable base here, which is a list of different software tools. We have a couple hundred different tools here. We have the name, the description, and the URL, and whether or not it was approved. We have this in Airtable so a non-technical person can easily manage this list, make updates, make changes, etc., etc. But our app is actually going to be connected to a Supabase backend. So we want this Airtable base to connect to Superbase. So the first thing that we need to do if we're back in Lovable is we need to connect this to Superbase. Hopping over to Superbase here, I just want to show you, we have this Superbase table set up. It's called directory, and there's only one table here. So we have this tools table and it has a name, description, URL, and whether or not it's approved. It also has a category. We actually probably don't need this field. We'll just go ahead and delete this. So we dropped that field. And looking back here, this matches name, description, URL, and approved. name, description, URL, and approved. So these tables match. So this is great. So what we need to do is come back to Lovable, and we need to click this Superbase icon up here. And they have this one-click connect, which makes it super easy. And we go to nocodevs.org and we connect to the directory Superbase. This gives us a pop-up just to confirm. Let's go ahead and connect and see what happens. Again, the agent over here on the left is going to work to try to connect to our Superbase. And it's going to give us any errors or anything that it runs into as this works through. Okay, so it looks like it is connected. User accounts to log in, real-time data, advanced features, edge functions, and the list goes on and on. So this is looking good, but we're still seeing our dummy data. So let's go ahead and prompt this. Connect to the tools table in Superbase and bring these into the index instead of the dummy data. Okay, so we're just speaking in natural language to tell this agent what we want to have happen. Essentially, we want to look at our tool table here in Superbase to populate this index instead of just this dummy data. We don't have any tools in our Superbase yet, but we'll get there. First, we want to make sure it works. Okay, so Lovable is having us confirm this SQL injection to get this updated and have this all work. So let's go ahead and approve this and run it and see what happens. Okay, so now that the database schema is updated, they're going to modify the index to fetch and display the data from Superbase instead of the dummy data. Exactly what we wanted. So it looks like this is going to work. It's going to refresh the page. And look at this. We don't have any tools at all in our directory. So it looks like this is working. If we added a tool to our directory, we should see it here. But we already have our backend here in Airtable with hundreds of different tools, and we don't want to update these manually. In Superbase, we want to actually have it sync. So we're going to use a tool called WhaleSync to bring all this data right into our Superbase, and it makes it super easy. So let's go ahead and go into WhaleSync. I've gone ahead and signed into my account, and we're going to need to do a couple things here. We're going to need to connect our data sources and get this all working. So let's go ahead and click Connect Data Source. We need to choose our first app here, which is Airtable. We're going to go ahead and authorize this. Okay, so we need to add our base. We're going to choose the WhaleSync base here. As you can see, the name of our base is WhaleSync. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and hit grant access. And it looks like it was connected. You can reauthorize if it gets disconnected, which base we want to sync. WhaleSync. Okay, let's go ahead and hit save connection. Okay, so now we need to choose our second data source. And in this case, it's going to be Supabase. So we're going to go ahead and choose this, and we can hit authorize. What we need to do is get our Superbase data connection string. They give you some instructions, but I'll just show you how to get it here. If we come up here and we hit connect in Superbase, we get this direct connection URL. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I can come back here to WhaleSync. I can paste this in. And the one thing that we need here is our Superbase database password. And we need to pass that into this URL. So let's come back here. We can get out of this screen. We can go over to project settings, configuration, database, and our database password. I can't see the database password, so I'm going to go ahead and reset it. We can use a new strong password. There we go. I'll copy this, reset our password. Okay, password was updated, so we can come back to WhaleSync here, and we can just pass in this password right here. Delete this. Put in our password and hit authorize. Let's see what happens. Okay, Postgres public, perfect. Let's go ahead and hit save connection. All right, this looks good. Let's go ahead and hit continue. Okay, so we've got our data sources connected, and now we just need to map our tables. So let's go ahead and add table mappings. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to choose our Airtable, and we're given two options here. Now, this is important. You can either choose the entire table or the grid view. If we come back to this, we see we have this grid view or this the whole table. We actually want to make sure that we choose the whole table so that there's a two-way sync between Airtable and Superbase. If we just did the grid view, it'd only be a one-way sync. So we'll go ahead and do that. We can go ahead and create table mapping. And it's actually going to try to automatically map the fields. It found one field to auto map. I'm going to skip this and just do this manually to show you how this all works. So we need to pick our values. So we need to pick name, map this to name. We need to pick description, map this to description. We need to do URL, map this to URL or link. And then the last one is if it's approved or not, and we can map this to approved. If you have additional fields in your Superbase or your Airtable, you don't have to map all of them, just the ones that are important for the sync. All right, let's go ahead and hit save and continue. Looks like we're good here. Let's go ahead and prepare the initial sync. Looks like it's set up. We can hit scan records. Now, if you remember, while this is working, it's found 259 records, which is perfect. That's what matches on our table here, 259 records. We can go ahead and hit continue. And we get a little visual preview here of what's going to happen. So no records are added to our Airtable because they're all there. No one will be updated, but we're going to add 259 records to our Superbase because our Superbase does not have any records of these tools. This is a two-way sync. So if you make a change in your Airtable or your Superbase, the records will be updated or added automatically, which is super cool. We can go in and hit continue. Everything looks good. We got green checkboxes all the way down. So we can now activate our sync. And what's going to happen here is WhaleSync is actually going to start syncing all of this data from Airtable to Superbase. What's really great about this is that you might have employees or somebody working on your project who's non-technical, they're not a database administrator, etc. So they can actually just like work in Airtable, which is a simple spreadsheet, make any changes to the name, the description, add tools, etc. And as they make these changes, they're actually going to go ahead and be pushed out to Superbase automatically via WhaleSync, which is super cool. Another thing that you can do is you can use Airtable's forms to create a form so that an end user can actually submit data to your table. And then all you would need to do is check like approved and it would be sent out to your Superbase. So this is really, really cool. It's going to be working for us here. And when it's done syncing all of this data, our web app should be completely populated with all of these tools. So let's go back here to WhaleSync. This will probably take a minute because there's a lot of data here that's syncing. Like right now, there's just one record sync, but it moves through pretty quickly. We're going to start seeing all of our records synced over to Superbase. Let's go ahead to our Superbase table. We can go to the table editor. We'll update our password and we can see tools. And look at this, it's starting to populate all of these tools from our Airtable. It's giving it a unique ID, the time it was created, and so on and so forth. If we come back to Lovable here, look at this. We're starting to see all of our tools listed. Now, each tool has a picture because it gave it an image field. We can easily remove that if we don't want that. Also, the category field is not something that we have in our data set, so we can remove that as well. But you get the idea. This is already working and it's syncing all of our Airtable records to Superbase. We can search, we can say share tribe, and look at that. The search is working in real time. Again, if you make changes to Superbase or if you make changes to Airtable, it's a two-way sync. It's handled by WhaleSync, so you've got that completely covered for you. It's going to finish syncing these records. I am not going to show you how to make visual changes, but you can do it very easily with prompting. You can remove these fields from the database, and then you'll just have your tools with the description. And if you click the link, it's actually going to take you out to this software tool. This one is ShareType. So hopefully this gives you a really quick, actionable way to build web apps that are data-driven. You can manage it with a simple spreadsheet. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any other videos like this one. Thank you so much.